Now, remember when Nancy Pelosi told us that we'd have to pass Obamacare to find out what was actually in the bill? Well, she couldn't have been more right. Now, earlier this week, it was announced that thanks to Obamacare, health insurance plans must cover birth control for women without any copays. Now, the requirement goes into effect in January 2013 and is said to be part of a preventative care program for women. But is this what people had in mind when the Democrats were pushing universal health care? Now, according to a new Rasmussen Reports poll, 46% do not think the government should require health insurance companies to cover all the contraceptives for women, while only 39% believe they should. Joining me now with reaction, Fox News contributor, former Women's Media Center president Jammu Green, and Fox News legal analyst and host Kimberly Guilfoyle. By the way, you can catch her on the 5 right here on the Fox News channel beating up Bob Beckel.
He likes it.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Love the show. All right. Explain to me why government should require health insurance companies, and by the way, some of them have religious orientation and a value system that is against birth control, Catholic services, et cetera. Why should they require it by law? Why can't, if people want to engage in activity, at what point do we say people have got to be responsible for their own behavior?
Well, look, a panel of scientists, medical professionals who are much smarter than us, they made this recommendation, and they made it because this is a win-win for everyone involved. If you are against abortion, you should be celebrating this decision.
No, hang on a second.
If you are...
Okay. Look into the camera and tell the American people we're now going to be $25 trillion in debt. Now, if you want to go out and make the choice to take off one article of clothing, the next one, the next one, the next one.
Exactly where I was going, Sean.
And have sex.
If you are only caring about cost saving,
then you go get your own birth control.
Okay,
I shouldn't have to pay for it.
If you only care about the cost savings, unintended pregnancies in America cost us up to $11 billion a year.
We're not a responsibility society
That's an
anymore.
Opportunity for savings there. But again, this is about women's health. If you care about women's health,
it's not about women's health. It's about birth control. This is about women's birth control.
50% of pregnancies are unintended.
I'm not having sex.
This is going to dramatically decrease abortions. This is going to dramatically increase women's health and family health. If you care about, if you're against welfare, you should be celebrating this. There are so many reasons why this is actually something that we can have a kumbaya moment around.
I'm happily married for 18 years. Here's my point,
and
Kimberly.
And you can get pregnant with your clothes on, too. I just want to point that out, Sean. You seem to think that you have to take everything off.
You can get pregnant with your clothes on?
Wow, you sound surprised. You don't have to have everything off to get. That's a whole other class in education. We don't have time for that tonight.
Well, certain article of clothing does have to come off, Kimberly.
I'm not going to even get into that.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Not going to go there, but I will tell you this. This is going to increase the cost of premiums. There's no such thing as free. The buck is going to get passed on, right? This is for services like birth control, morning after pill, vasectomies, tubal ligation, and doctors are supposed to automatically ask about domestic violence. Are you being abused? What's going on in your life? This has gotten completely out of hand. Why can't it be a personal choice responsibility about birth control and not something that is forced upon taxpayers like Roman Catholics and others that don't believe it? And it doesn't decrease the amount of sexually transmitted diseases.
98% of Catholic women practice birth control. 100% of evangelicals use birth control.
Why?
1 in 3 women struggles to pay for her birth control.
But let me tell you something.
When you have to decide between filling up your gas tank and how you're going to deal with, I don't know, filling up your own tank, like you're gonna
filling up your own.
Come on now, you're in this economy. You do have to make decisions about what you're going to pay for.
For some women, birth control pill actually increases the number of sexually transmitted diseases that are contracted. And by the way, there's plenty of services out there like Planned Parenthood that provide birth control. It's already, the cost is so low. You make a contribution, a donation there if you need, if it's something that you need to. Why should the taxpayers, why should everybody else have to pay for an individual's sexual choices and decisions? And by the way, abstinence prevents pregnancy.
Of course, abstinence prevents pregnancies. But again, you have to look at the facts here, Kimberly. 50% of pregnancies in this country are unintended. 1 in 3 women make a decision between what they're going to pay for on a monthly basis and if they're going to be able to pay for birth control. The Center for Disease Control has cited family planning as one of the top 10 health accomplishments in the 20th century.
You're off track. Why should other people pay for this when they're not engaging in the activity? They're not having they're not having the sex part. Why should they? Why can't people be individual responsibility. Why can't that be? Why can't they take responsibility for their own life? Why? Why?
A lot of people pay for things that you may not.
If I'm not having the sex, I don't want to pay for.
If you're not eating well, if someone's not eating well and they get free screening for diabetes, that's covered in preventative services. There are so many preventive services
you can't
that
compare
are covered under the Affordable Health Care Act. This is historic for women. Historic for women. We have come from a time when Viagra was covered by insurance plans and birth control wasn't.
Problem. I mean,
now,
let me tell you something.
This is where we should be.
Alcohol, drug use, etc. That's what contributes to unwanted pregnancies. And you know what I find particularly offensive? This is saying that poor people can't make good decisions about how to protect themselves sexually, that we're going to have to just pay for it anyway, that they're not going to be able to manage their own life and have personal responsibility.
How about this?
But people that have money can. It's ridiculous.
If you're going to fill up your tank, I'll use your words. You know what? You better be prepared for the consequences and stop expecting other people to be responsible for every minute aspect of your life in this nanny state that you want to create.
But why should we pay for a man's Viagra?
Because that actually is a medical.
Insurance plans,
that's a medical.
Before the Affordable Care Act, some insurance plans wouldn't cover birth control.
That is a medical problem versus a choice to have sex. You know what? You can choose not to have it. If you can't afford gas in your car, it might not be the right time to thinking about activity that's going to be risky.
I think, again, you have to look at how many people like you, Sean,
we can't afford
have
this, Jamil.
tried to figure out ways to decrease abortion. This automatically decreases abortion.
I didn't think
this
about
automatically helps us with our welfare state.
No, it doesn't.
There are so many things. We should be busting out the pom-poms and cheerleading this cost savings, welfare reform, whether it's, whatever your focus is. And Sean, I've heard you talk about decreasing abortions so many times.
This doesn't do that.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, Jamil.
The Centers for Disease Control, the ones who know, tie that straight line.
How about investing in children and their future and education? The children that we have here, what about, providing more for school in terms of the education system? I don't understand why we have to sit there and say, okay, we're going to give you birth control pills, they're going to solve your problems. You might actually be encouraging that person to not use condoms and have safe sex, and which is more cost to the taxpayer.
Kimberly, thank you, Jamu. Appreciate it. Let not your heart be troubled. I won't have sex, but I'll be paying for the birth control. Not fair. You'll be paying for the birth control. Let not your heart be troubled. Our Great American Panel is next.